Into it.
Yeah.
It's time. So yes, as I mentioned at the top, man, we are here to really just begin the process that we will complete July 7th, 2023, 2:30 to 2:30, 3:30 to 4:30, Manchester International Festival Square stage, where we will be performing our first ever live performance. If you're around, come through. Tickets are free. It will be a vibe. And we, on that stage, will be trying to construct a top 10 rappers of all time, a Two Stubborn Nigerians top 10 rappers of all time. But to do that, the Two Stubborn Nigerians, being Raheem and myself, have to come together and decide on who makes the top 15. So we are shortlisting today. So the process was this. We both went away. We didn't talk about it. We haven't discussed it. We didn't discuss a single iota of criterion. No, I just had to let that breathe.
Iota is crazy. Iota is crazy.
Oh my god, they gonna be sick of me on July 7th, Manchester Cycle Festival.
Fam, they better pray they release an album. That's what I'm calling it. Iota.
I must say someone with that earlier in the week. I was like, if you could just show an iota of decorum, it would be great. The decorum, instead of someone that don't have any decorum, it's a par. It's a par.
It's ever since that "Come Dine With Me" episode. You have the grace and decorum of a
reversing dump truck with no tire.
Yo, no one does it like us in the UK. That's it. We're the best.
I'm telling you. We're the best. We're the best at using adjectives in our parts. Because we can't even just stop us. Oh, I can't even get started. Anyway. So yeah, we didn't discuss it. So we each went away and separately created top 20 lists. They're not ranked. Top 20s aren't ranked. We just had 20 names. And we're going to come together, and here's the process. So we're going to each read out our top 20s. Any names that match that are on both of our lists immediately are shortlisted into the top 15. If we have more names at list, so if we both have the exact same top 20, then we have to figure out 5 who don't make the cut. And then if we say, let's say we have 10 that match, we need to come down to a top. We need to add 5 more between those who don't match up. We then need to have deliberations to make it to who gets into the top 15. It will make more sense as we go along. But before we get into it, one of the things that we have lamented at different times with different publications when they do their lists is a lack of thought that goes into how you're ranking or listing these people. We have a specific episode entitled Methodology where I question how what methodology different publications use to come up with that list. So before we go any further, Raheem, what was your methodology for how people got onto your top 20 list?
It was a weird one. I felt like I had to set a bunch of rules, and I'd set a bunch of rules for myself, first of all, going into it. And then obviously I had my methodology on top of that. So for me, the things that I was ranking the highest and the things that determined if you're going to make my list or not. One is how highly I think of you as a rapper before entering into this at all. So there may be names on here that some people might think are missing. But it's just, the first thing is, okay, do I think highly of this person as a rapper? 2, your rap performance. You know, how when you rap, when I hear you on a song or a feature or on your own single throughout your albums, is it like a wow? You know, do you have that wow factor when I'm listening? 2, your impact on hip hop in general, from beginning of your career to the end of your career. I've included, I won't say quality of discography, but I'm not going to say quality of discography, quality of albums. I'll put it as that, because I don't want to say that I've listened to everything that everyone has put out, because I just haven't. Fair. But I've listened to albums, at least one album for everyone on this list. And I'm going to say quality of albums that I've listened to. But I also had some rules, as I said earlier. So one of the rules that I had was I'm going to take into account people's individual works and people's work within groups. However, if your works within groups is solely what you're relying on, then it hurt me not to put it in, Paul. I want to say that from now. It hurt me. It hurt my heart. Right. Fuck off.
Sorry. Sorry.
I'm so angry. I was like, why are you pausing me? And I heard it back. I should be playing.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, it hurt me. It hurt me. But Andre 3000 didn't make my list.
Okay.
Because, as I said, he had to. I was going mainly off of his work with Outkast and his features, but he doesn't have an individual album that I've heard anyway.
I will disagree with that.
Individual album?
Yeah.
I couldn't find an individual album.
The Love Below.
I wouldn't count that though. Wouldn't count that as an Outkast album?
No, because that's the whole point. Speakerbox is Big Boy's side. Like,
yeah.
3K's only on Speakerbox once, and I think Big Boy's only on Love Below like once. So to me, if that's not a solo album, I don't know what is, to be honest with you. But it's fair. It's fair. That's your criteria. I'm not arguing that
fair
today.
But yeah, so I held Andre 3000 out for that. Whereas other artists who were also part of big groups did make the cut.
Yeah,
because they had individual works as well that I could look at and say, yeah, these are great projects in themselves, as well as everything that they've done in music. So they made the cut. So yeah, that's kind of how I approach my list and how I've come up with the names I've come up with.
Cool. No matter that. My starting point was different, but I don't think our overall criteria are that different. So my starting point was 2 classic albums.
Okay.
2 classic albums to me. That's the minimum to get on this list. And everyone on my list has 2 classic albums to me. Don't care about y'all. This ain't your damn list. Get your own damn podcast. Get your own damn spot at Manchester International Festival on July 7th, 2023. And then we can come talk to you about if an album's a classic or not. So everyone on this list has, to me, 2 classic albums. That was 1. 2 is impact and influence. Can I plot your impact as an artist to other parts of hip hop somewhere else down the line? And I believe I can do that with every single person on this list. And then after that, it was just a case of when I had people, because I have more than 20 names, as we spoke about before the pod. I have more than 20 names here. I shortlisted so many names. Then it was a case of, how did your music make me feel? What stories are you telling? My favorite aspect of hip hop is the storytelling. And so what story can the story of hip hop be told without you? And where it can't, you're on the list. Where I think it can, you've just missed out. In fact, no, that's a lie. Because no one who's just missed out can the story of hip hop be told without them, in my opinion. But the people who are in there represent a significant piece. So it was tough. It was really, really tough. It was fun. I'm with you. I got to listen to a lot of albums from a lot of great albums from a lot of artists who I really love. Some I hadn't listened to in a long time. Some I had never listened to and I went back and listened to. So this was a fun thought exercise for me. How about yourself?
Yeah, I've listened to albums this week that from artists on this list that I genuinely believe. Well, some of them were albums I went back to, similar to yourself. A lot of them were albums I had never heard before. And a lot of the albums I had never heard before changed my viewpoint on artists on this list. There's some artists on this list that I've literally watched them go from, on Sunday last week, artists that I love and respect, to today that we're recording, Saturday, 24th of June, me sitting here saying this might be one of my favorite artists of all time. Just from listening to some of the albums that these guys dropped, man, it recontextualized everything I knew about them. Everything I knew about them. So I'm excited to get into this list. I'm excited to see who you have on your list. I think our criteria are they're very like, it's funny to me because they're just so on brand. Somehow we always manage to keep it on brand because, of course, you had storytelling as one of your criteria, and of course, I had wow factor as one of mine. Like everything just always makes sense. Man, I love this podcast. But yeah, how are we doing this? Ping ponging it or?
I think we should ping pong it in groups of 5.
Okay.
So you read out 5, I read out 5, you read out 5, I read out 5. Once we've got the full 20 each, we'll then tick off who's equals or who's matched. Sit them over. They go over to the next round. Congratulations to them. They go into Casa Amor. I don't know how that show works. I don't know.
It doesn't work like that.
Someone forced me to watch it. Like, someone forced me to 20 minutes the other day. I'm like, yo, what's going on here? Bro, I was forced to watch it the other day, and I don't like this. But there's you. Do you watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one guy from London in it. I don't know who he's from. I don't know what their name is. I just knew, and I don't even know he's from London. But he was moving, and the way he was talking, I was like, bro, all us Southern niggas move the same. We all move the exact same way.
Bro, I've been watching this whole series with Angel and my mom, yeah. And bro, like these guys a scene will happen. Any scene will happen with like some of these guys, and these guys will be like, see, he's just a bad person. Like, I can't believe he did that. And I'm like, hold on. Because why is this genius?
It's the play. I know the play.
He's like, he's gonna do this next. And I'm like, no, he's not gonna do that. And he does it. I'm like, here's me, I am him.
Play.
He did the oopty doo. How do you not see the oopty doo?
How do you not see the screen coming? It's right.
Of course, it's gonna pass out to the corner, bro. That's the whole way he set up.
It was crazy. Anyway, anywho.
All right,
do you want to start or can I start?
You can start. I'm really upset that we don't have a whiteboard in this bitch.
All right, my first list of 5, and again, these are not ordered people. We're just reading out names. First list of 5. I've got Ghostface Killer.
Yep.
Common.
Yep.
Andre 3000.
Yep.
Nas.
Yep.
And the artist formerly known as Kanye West.
Yep. Cool. All right. My first list of 5. I have Rick Ross. I have Redman. Method Man. Pusha T. And Mos Def.
This is going to be extremely fun. All right, my next list of 5. I got Lauryn Hill. Kendrick Lamar. Scarface. Drake. And Nicki Minaj.
Fair. This is gonna be so funny. Yo, this is gonna be a good list. Because you're naming people that just missed Michael.
Same.
Oh, man.
By the way.
Oh, where did I end? Mos Def?
Yeah.
All right. I have Busta Rhymes, 50 Cent, Lil Kim, Missy Elliott, Lauryn Hill.
All right. Next 5, I've got Jay-Z.
Yep.
Biggie Smalls. Tupac. Snoop. And J. Cole.
Makes sense. You're writing all the artists down that I saying that you have, right? Yeah, beautiful. All right, cool. My next one, Ghostface Killer, Scarface, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and Snoop Dogg.
Okay. So this is my last 5.
Yep.
I got Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Kano.
Wow.
Eminem. Lil Kim. And this is where I had the 4-way tie. for the last place. And you've said 2 of the 4 who are potentials. So it's either I give one of them a spot or I go with someone else outside so we can have a discussion. And I think I'm going to go with someone else outside so that we can have a discussion.
Okay.
Unless you have this person in your next 5, which I don't know.
We'll see.
But I'm going to go with Jadakiss.
Are you ready?
For fuck's sake. Let's go.
I'm so dead. Alright, when did I end on my last one?
You ended with Snoop.
I thought so. Okay. So I have Lil Wayne.
Okay.
I have Biggie.
Yeah.
I have Tupac. I have Jay-Z. And here, Paul. This was the toughest one for me. Because there was legitimately at least 5 artists that could have gotten this spot. And I debated with myself. I didn't like the fact that I didn't have anyone from the UK on my list. But at the end of the day, I just had to keep true to what I was putting on the list. I went with Jadakiss.
All right, so let's match them up.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
So we got Lil Kim, Lauryn Hill, Ghostface, Scarface, J. Cole, Kendrick, Snoop, Lil Wayne, Biggie, Park, Jay-Z, Kiss.
Okay, wait, hold on. I want to. So we have Lil Kim, Lauryn Hill.
Lil Kim, Lauryn Hill, Ghostface, Scarface, J. Cole, Kendrick, Snoop, Lil Wayne.
Hold on. Kendrick,
Snoop,
Lil Wayne,
Biggie.
Yep.
Park, Hove, Kiss. So we got 12 by my count.
Yeah. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we have 12. That's crazy. I didn't think we were going to match up with so many.
I have to get to the big headline for me.
Yeah.
No Nas on your list.
I almost put him there. When I put Jay-Z, I was like, oh, and Nas. But then I just had to, it was a case of I had to be true to myself. Because at the end of the day, as much as I'm trying to have the right list, I'm trying to have Raheem's list. The list has to represent me. And there was just every other artist I named on my list. Fundamentally, I'm a bigger fan of them than I am of Nas.
That is
what it came down to.
Fair.
Yeah. Fair. It did hurt me for him not to be there. He was one of the people who was tied up with Jadakiss. So for me, it was between Jadakiss, Nas, ODB, DMX, and Rich 32.
So mine was between, and now I'm annoyed I went with Kiss. If I knew you had Kiss, I wouldn't have gone with Kiss. So we could have a discussion. But mine was between Kiss, Missy, Busta, Raekwon, Lupe, and then, but we intentionally left out people from the 80s, or else it would have been Ice Cube.
Fair. Fair. Now that you say that, I'm shocked that you didn't have Missy on your list, you know?
She was right there. Right there. And it was literally, because I didn't think you would have Kiss. Between you and I didn't think you'd have Kiss. So I was like, okay, he's got Missy and he's got Busta. Kiss was my third, and then it was Raekwon.
But it was one of those, like, I listed Kiss down as someone who I could see a world where he would get in there for me. That I went back, listened to Kiss of Death and The Champ is Here, and I was like, how can I not put him in here?
You can't.
How can I not?
Can't. Kiss of Death alone.
Kiss
of Death alone.
How can I not? Like, damn, these are some elite albums.
These are some bars. Kiss of Death alone.
Talking of, by the way, more artists need to have like just play on words with their album names, man.
I'm
like,
telling you.
I miss it. But nah, yeah, Kiss of Death. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Jada Kiss.
So we need to shortlist 3 names to complete this top 15, which we will then complete into a top 10. July 7th, 3:30 to 4:30, Manchester International Festival, Festival Square. Be there or be square. Do you see what
Yes, sir.
Festival Square. Come on. It's a pun. It's a pun for real. It's not a big one. Rest in peace. But it's a pun for real.
Oh man. This is gonna be a tough one. Because there's names that are here on my list that I'm livid that they're not in the top 15. That we didn't match, in fact. I'm livid, Paul. But I have more than 3 names that I'm livid about. Like, I'm upset that Buster isn't there. I'm upset that Missy isn't there. I'm upset that 50 Cent isn't there. I'm upset that Method Man isn't there. And I'm upset that Redman isn't there.
Is Meth your favorite member of Wu-Tang?
Yeah. And he wasn't. Paul, he wasn't. Paul, before this week, remember how I told you there are artists who I loved and respected, and they've changed to being artists that might be my favorite. Yeah. Before this week started, Paul, ODB was firmly my favorite Wu-Tang member. Like, that was it. There was no conversation to be had. And it was one of those, like, I said, okay, you know what, yeah, I actually need to go back and listen to some of these Meth Labs, because it's been so long, Paul. So long. And I was sat there listening, I was like, Method, like, Redman is cold. And I really, really, really like Redman. I think in terms of rap performances, he might be one of the best. Like, one of the best to ever do it. But Method Man is a bit colder. And I think in terms of, like, how he constructs albums, I was blown away just listening to these Meth Labs again. And then it was like, okay, cool. Method Man is definitely in my top 20. So he made the list. But as I was listening to every other album, Paul, it was like, yo, this sounds like Method Man. This Method Man, yo, this guy is cold. It was everywhere I went, Paul, and it was just like, there was nowhere where the quality dropped. I was like, man, I think Method Man might be my favorite rapper on this list, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, just with what he's done this last week.
I can't hold you. To be fair, Hip Hop Numbers did a post a couple of weeks ago, actually. It showed verses on Wu-Tang album and Method Man, like, in terms of numbers, who has the most. And it's literally Method Man, Ghost, and Raekwon, like 1, 2, 3. And Method Man is like far ahead. And then on each other's albums as well. Like, it was very much, they were very much employing a tactic of, we gonna be all right if we put Meth on every verse. And I can't hold you on that. That's fair. I can't. I'm still flabbergasted by Nas. I understand your thinking for Andre 3000. I just completely disagree. I am stunned you don't have Common.
Similar to Nas. I didn't put him on my list because I knew that it would be a situation where he wouldn't make the cut. But I think if we did top 30, he would be there.
So was Nicki not in conversation for you at all?
No, Nicki wasn't in conversation for me for similar reasons why Eminem wasn't in conversation for me. Because essentially every name that I listed hasn't dropped anything that I dislike. Okay. And I think that would essentially work against Nicki, and it would essentially work against Eminem. Worse for Eminem because Eminem's dropped albums that I dislike. Bad for Nicki because Nicki's dropped more than a handful of singles at this point that aren't for me at all. Obviously, what they've dropped that is cold. Like, I was having a conversation with myself yesterday because I was like, yeah, but Raheem, but Stan, because Stan is there. Like, Eminem should be on this list, but I had to be true to Raheem, man. I had to be true to Kex.
Right. So we got 3 to settle on.
in your ideal world, if you could add 3 to this list, who would it be?
3 to this list?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, I just looked at your list again. If in my ideal world, if I'm adding 3,
Mm-hmm.
I'm adding Drake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm adding Nas.
Okay.
And I'm okay for Kanye to not be on here. I'm actually very okay for Kanye to not be on here.
Mm-hmm. Kanye was a last minute snub for me, even.
So that means I'm adding Common.
How long have we been doing this part for? This segment for?
This part of the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
About 25 minutes.
Okay. So 25. Okay. All right. I'm willing, Paul, out of the goodness of my heart, to give you an artist that you want to add on. But then I also want an artist that I can add on, and we can really like fight over that last spot.
Okay. Because I think that's the only way we're going to be able to do this anyway.
For real.
I just want, as long as you know that we're going to take serious reputational damage on the stage, on the stage of Manchester International Festival Square, July 7th, from 3:30 to 4:30. I'm good with that. As long as you're good with that. Say less.
I'm only going there for booze.
I'd say less. Say less. As long as we're on the same page about that. Go on, who you adding?
I don't know. I don't know. I want to add 10 names. You can't let me think about this. That is so tough, Paul. Because it's between 3. There are 3 artists I want to put on, and obviously I can only pick one of them. It's between Method Man, Missy Elliott, and 50 Cent.
Okay.
Because I think it's crazy that 50 Cent isn't here.
I don't think it's crazy at all.
Just from your criteria, though, Paul, I don't get it. From your criteria, because can you tell the history of hip hop without 50 Cent?
You can't. But then by your criteria and the way in which you've got people snubbed off, 50 shouldn't be on your list unless you're telling me you love every single one of 50's albums.
Oh man, touche. All right, I'm gonna go with Missy Elliott. It's been in my heart a bit too much for her not to be on this list. She's one of the greatest to ever do it. I think it would be a really bad look on us if we didn't have Missy Elliott up here. So I'm gonna include Missy Elliott.
Happy with that. Because of where my page was, when you asked me before, I wasn't scrolled all the way down, so I couldn't see everyone. And so the person I'm going to put on, because I don't think the story of hip hop can be told without this person, and I don't think my enjoyment of hip hop throughout my entire life is the same without this person. I have to add Kano to this list.
Okay.
I have to add Kano to this list.
Okay. I'm not angry at you. I was very upset that we weren't going to have any British representation on here, so I'm more than happy for him to be added.
So now we got one. Now we've got one.
Can I hear some of the names that you were contemplating that didn't make the list? Or have you already given them all?
They didn't make my top 20.
Mm-hmm.
The last names on there that didn't make my top 20 were Missy, Busta, Raekwon, Lupe, and then if we're excluding the 80s, those were the ones. Those were the final. Obviously, I had a whole longer list So if we were doing like you just said, if we were doing this as a top 30, for example, Ross would have been in my top 30, 100%. Push would have been in my top 30, 100%. Meth would have been in my top 30, 100%. Push was nearly in this top 20. But when I just looked back at it and I thought through it, I was like, that it wasn't going to go that way. But so those were the ones. But those were the ones who just missed out were Missy, Buster, Raekwon, and
Lupe. See, for me, the names that just missed out for me, Andre 3000, Ludacris, Black Thought, DMX, Drake, Kanye, Nas, ODB, and Rich 32. This wasn't an easy list, man. It wasn't an easy list.
This was not an easy list.
Out of my names, is there any name that stands out to you as someone who you would be okay if they were added in?
Not above the person I think needs to be added in.
Who do you think needs to be?
I don't think you can have this list without Drake. And that's me saying that. I don't think you can have this list without Drake. I just don't. I genuinely just don't. I mean, there's a lot of people I don't think you could have this list without. I don't think you can have this list without 3K. When you talk about influence and storytelling, and like you can literally, like we've had it where you said you were listening to someone, you thought, is this Andre 3000? And you figured out it was Big Crit. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We've had that. Nas, A, the longevity, B, the quality within the longevity. And I'm not even someone who likes to big up Nas that much because of personal shit. But I think to me, this whole establishment that we have spent 2.5 years building, 2 years and 3/4 building, falls apart if Aubrey Drake Graham isn't on this list. And I don't even like saying that, but I have to give respect where respect is due.
Here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. I came into this episode, Paul, thinking neither of us are going to have Drake on our list. And my intention was at some point to say, are we really not going to put Drake on this list? You having Drake on your list has shocked me. I won't lie, it surprised me. But I do somewhat agree with you. I do think Drake needs to be here. My thing is, I'm not willing to give Drake the last space. That being said, I wouldn't mind swapping one of two of the previous names for Drake. One of the previous names for Drake. I was going to say Jadakiss or Lil Wayne could be swapped out for Drake, but I don't think Lil Wayne can be swapped out. I think Jadakiss is the one artist who I'd be like, okay,
I can swap
understandable.
I can swap Kiss for Drake. Yeah, I see that.
We doing it?
So Kiss is off.
Yeah.
Drake is on, but then we still need to pick a final spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Damn! Versus King though.
No. Listen, give him his flowers.
Versus King. All right, so we're adding Drake. And we're taking off Kiss.
Now, I would love, Paul, for us to review the Busta Rhymes amendment. If we could. Because it's been outside, Paul. It's been outside. It's tough for me not to have Busta Rhymes there.
I feel
in terms of performance, he might be number one.
I was the one who came. It wasn't on the podcast. It was off mic, and I said Busta Rhymes might have the most diverse catalog in hip hop history. Congrats to Busta Rhymes. He's receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award at this year's BET Awards.
Wow!
Congratulations!
Wow! Big congrats.
And deserved to, because you can't come on a song the way he came on Scenario and then put your hands where my eyes can see, like woo-ha. Maybe if you give it to me, I'll give it to you. Touch it, bring it,
man.
Legend. But I can't do it over Common or Andre. I really can't. And I'm okay to leave Andre off based on your criteria. Like I said, I disagree with your criteria, with how you categorize that, but fine. But I can't do it over Common. I really can't. I can't really do it over Nas. Busta wouldn't even put himself over Nas.
The thing is, I'm looking at my list, right? I'm looking at the names that aren't here, that aren't making the list. And it's tough for me to put Common over any of them. Nas, if Nas went on the list, Nas would literally just be there just because it's wrong to have Jay-Z on the list and not Nas.
That's
in my opinion.
Though.
And
yeah,
Illmatic.
That's not to me at all.
Yeah, but this is the Two Stubborn Nigerians list.
Yeah, and you're only 50% of that.
Yeah, exactly. I want my 50% to be heard.
Not in this forum.
Man, there's
no, you don't have to use it. No, you don't have to use it properly.
It would hurt me for Method Man not to be there. I'll be real with you. It would really, really hurt me. It would hurt. It would hurt.
I can't have Meth, man. I can't. I love Meth. I fuck with Meth very heavy. I do. I fuck with Meth very heavy.
This is a tough one.
This is the bind that we're in.
Because I couldn't. There's names here that aren't there, but if I'm being real with myself, it's between Method Man, Busta Rhymes. That's it. Those are the two names that aren't on the list that is hurting me. I know, and there's no names I would be willing to take off this list at this point. Lil Kim, Lauryn Hill, Big Scout. It's perfect.
No one's coming off this list. Like this top 14 is solidified.
How do you find peace in the Midwest?
Nice. How do we find peace within this war?
Nigga, I said what I said. I'm sticking to it. Oh.
Man. All right, so let's run through who we've got. So we've got Lil Kim.
Yep.
Missy Elliott.
Yep.
Lauryn Hill.
Yep.
Ghostface Killer. Scarface. J. Cole. Kendrick.
Yep.
Snoop Dogg. Lil Wayne.
Yep.
The Notorious B.I.G. Tupac.
Yep.
Jay-Z.
Yep.
Drake. And Kano.
Yep. You didn't have DMX on your list at all, did you?
I didn't at all, no. Who is your one of one that if you could instantly insert someone onto this list, that's who you're putting on?
Method Man.
Okay. Mine is Common. So I'm instantly inserting onto this list. So we're going to cancel those two out.
Okay.
And we're going to argue over our number twos.
Over our number twos?
Yeah.
Okay.
So who's the second name that you would put onto this list if you could?
You know what? This might be a hot take. Because I'm just looking over it again. This is going to be a hot take. Rick Ross.
No, not at all.
Who's your number two?
It's Nas.
Your number two is Nas?
Yeah. Because I've accepted that Andre's not getting on this list. It would be Nas. But no, I can't do Rick Ross over Nas. And that is me. That is me who has seen Rick Ross. Rick Ross is my dad. Rick Ross has some of my favorite albums of all time. Like I'm still holding on to tickets from last year, July, when we were meant to go see Rick Ross, which he still hasn't rescheduled the show for. waiting for
Crazy, by the way. I always forget about that.
Waiting for us to give us a date so that I can buy my mink coat so I can come through there with my mink coat and gold chain with no shirt on. Like, yo, niggas think I'm joking. That's how I'm walking in that bitch, bro. Mink coat, no shirt. But I just can't do that to Nas. Like, I disrespect Nas a lot. Deservedly so, but I can't do that to Nas.
I can't put Nas in over 50 Cent or Busta Rhymes. Okay.
You didn't mention either of those two names, though. You said Rick Ross was your second. So we're not even talking about that.
Said no, yeah. In a world where I could put anyone on the list, it will be Rick Ross. But if it's a case of who I think should be on the list, if Method Man can't make the list.
But you missed the opportunity.
No, I didn't.
You said Rick Ross. Yeah, so I'm not arguing now with 50 or Busta.
No. Because you said if I could, who I would put on the list if I could put anyone on my list other than Method Man. And it would be Rick Ross if I could, but I can't.
And
so if I'm going correctly.
That's what I said. I said, who would be your number two? And we'll argue over the number twos. And you immediately said Rick Ross.
Nah, I'm going back to saying Busta.
Then we're not having this conversation. And we'll stop at 14.
We can stop at 14.
Then let's stop at 14.
But 15 is a better number.
No, let's stop at 14. Because if you don't want to play by rules, if now that you've heard me say Nas, you want to retcon it to add in someone else who you think gives you a stronger argument. No, we're not playing that game. We'll stop at 14.
Might have to.
That's what
you want to do.
There's our top 14 then. So going into the top 14, we will come on Manchester International Festival, July 7th, 2023, 3:30 to 4:30. We will be trying to make a top 10 rappers all-time list out of the following names: Lil Kim, Missy Elliott, Lauryn Hill, Lil Wayne, The Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, Jay-Z, Drake, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Kano, J. Cole, Scarface, and Ghostface Killer.